Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Welcome to our first FX market overview for this year. Today is 15th January 2024. So this is our first market overview, and I'm sure it's going to be an amazing year. Yeah, it's going to be an amazing year. Right. So 2023, it has come and gone, and we're grateful to be alive to see this new year. Okay, so quickly, without taking too much of our time, because I do not want to spend too much time today. So quickly to the upper right of my screen, we are going to be looking at about 7 assets. Okay, so there's more, but I just want us to look at this few. And then next week, I'm going to talk about more of the asset I'm looking at. So we can see the first on the list is the dollar index. Then we have the Euro USD. We have the Euro NZD, CAD JPY, GBP JPY, NZD, CAD, and Bitcoin, right? So these are the assets we're going to be looking at. So I decided to add Bitcoin because, last year, I was just seeing on the Telegram group that there is Bitcoin 45K, Bitcoin 40K, Bitcoin 30K. And I was like, wow, I am not in. And I love to trade Bitcoin. There was a point in time in my life earlier where I usually trade Bitcoin like back to back. So I want to go back to trading Bitcoin. So that's why I have it on my radar beginning of the year, first month. I'm going to be looking at Bitcoin a lot. Yeah, so I can catch those big moves, right? Yes. So first on the list is dollar index. As you can see, this is the dollar index chart. We are on a monthly time frame. That means every candle is going to represent 1 month, right? 1 month. So this is the dollar index on a monthly time frame. And now when the year started, I had to delete all my markups for 2023 in 2023, right? So I deleted all the markups. That's why everything is just looking so new now, right? So, but then I remember last year I had something like this in this area, kind of demand supply, and then we were talking about price coming into this imbalance, right? We're talking about price coming into this imbalance and giving us that rejection from there. Last year we had, this was last year, January candle was a bearish month. And then we had a bullish candle for February. And you can see price really did not give us that big push to the upside or the downside. It just was throughout last year, we're just going back and forth. So it started last year in this area, went up, came back down, a little bit up, came back down, and then went up. But then we can see that based on structure, last year we had this low, this high, this low, and then price gave us this lower high, but failed to give us the lower low. And then I remember we were talking about price sweeping this liquidity, which price did, took out the liquidity, came into the imbalance, and then went all the way to the upside, broke the structure. So I can remember my markup, I had like a break of structure in this area, right? And then price gave us this higher high and then started to come down. And then December, that was last year, December candle was a very big bearish candle, and then we closed below this area. So now on the monthly time frame, we are bearish. Looking at the structure within the bigger structure, we are bearish on a monthly time frame. Now, if we go to the 12 months time frame, that's every candle represent one trading year. All right, so we can see that from the 12 months time frame, price actually bearish. We had this low, this lower high, and this lower low, right? And since then, price has been gave us this lower high, was already coming down, and then went all the way to the upside. Now, the structure within the bigger structure is actually bullish, as we can see that we had this high, this higher low, and this higher high, right? Price rejected from this area. There was an imbalance on the lower time frame that price rejected from, which we called out also. Now, the structure within this bigger structure is bullish, and we can see that I can see an imbalance in this area. Okay, so I'm going to be looking at this imbalance this year. Price is most likely going to trade into this imbalance this year. This is the 12 month time frame. It's going to take many days, many weeks, possibly for this to happen. But looking at the structure within the bigger structure is bullish, right? Higher high, this higher low is what I'm saying. We have this high, we have this low, and we have this higher high. So in terms of the range now, we should be looking at this to be the down range, and this is the top range. And I can see this imbalances in this area. Okay, so I know price is going to come into this area in the future because I've seen this happen so many times. I can see we had this imbalance in this area. Price traded all the way up, came back into the area, even though it rejected, but it came back into that area. So I'm sure we're gonna find some trading opportunities to take price all the way down into this imbalance. So this is my first point of interest for this year on the dollar index. Okay, so now this is bearish. It could just drop. Okay, but I'm just going to be looking at price coming into this area. Now, I'm not even going to say, I'm not going to conclude if it's going to go up from there or go down. I'm just going to put this regular. So regular is neutral. Okay, I'm just anticipating that the dollar index is going to trade down into this area on the monthly, on the yearly time frame, actually. So this is the first point of interest I'm having. Now, if we go down to the weekly time frame is already bearish, right? We can see the weekly time frame is bearish. Structure within the bigger structure is bearish. Now, like I was explaining earlier, we had this break of structure, right? And then give us another break. I was actually looking at this candle December. I think I explained it that if we should come down, like if dollar should really sell down, then most likely we'll get that break of structure, which I didn't want, but I do not control the market. So we finally had the break of structure. As you can see from this area down, this kind of actually close below. So monthly range now is this is the top range, and this area here is the down range. Now, am I also seeing an imbalance? Definitely, I'm seeing this imbalance here. In this area, I'm seeing this imbalance. Yeah, I'm coming. Just okay. So this imbalance here for a sell. So on the yearly time frame, we have this imbalance. I'm anticipating the dollar index is going to trade towards as the year unfolds. And aside from that, we also have now on a monthly time frame, price is bearish, the structure is bearish. So I can be positioning myself to look for sell opportunities on the dollar index. Then Euro USD, we're going to be looking for buying opportunities to the upside. Now, this is the monthly time frame. This is January candle started bullish. It's going all the way to the upside. So it's generally going to close bullish. We're going to wait to see what is going to happen. But price for the past 1 year now has just been going back and forth within the same area. January was in this area, February, March, April, May, the whole of last year, except September and October that just traded higher. And then November, December back into the same area. So price, I would say it's consolidating. The dollar index is consolidating and it's back inside that range again. So what is going to happen in this area? I'm very, very interested to see what's going to happen. But so I have this area for sell, most likely. It also lines up with some kind of um, demand supply. We had some sell rejection in this area. We had some sell rejection in this area. Structure is bearish. So I'm just going to be open to see what's going to happen. And then if we go to the weekly time frame, now on the weekly time frame, we do have, so let me just do this. This is really going to take long. So I'm just going to have it here and keep it for the rest of the year until price gets there. So now this imbalance was present on the weekly, on the monthly time frame, but on the weekly time frame, we only have this little 1 year, right? Now on the weekly time frame, we can see that structure was bearish, right? We had low, we had this high, this low, this high, and this low. And then the weekly structure broke to the upside. Can you see? So now the monthly is bearish, the weekly is bullish, the yearly is bearish. So there's a bit of a conflict between what the weekly is telling us and what the monthly is saying. The monthly is bearish. We're preparing to go down. Now, after a lower low, we should anticipate a lower high, and then price should give a lower low. That's typical market structure, right? And then, but the monthly now, the weekly rather is bullish, right? And then because we have the stop range, the higher high, higher low, somewhere in this area. And I remember in one of the recording, I think the last recording I did, that was, I think, beginning of December. I can actually remember I talked about the dollar index coming into this imbalance and most likely rejecting from there. I talked about it, and I was even projecting maybe it's going to get there next, like this 2024, but I mean, actually came there. And this was a very, strong demand and supply area. So we had some level of demand, and just some that same area now, price came there and rejected. So I remember talking about this in the video. So if I didn't talk about it in the video, then maybe it's the next recording I was about to do. I had already seen it because I actually wanted to do one more recording, one more weekly outlook after the previous one to end the trading year, but I got busy. I couldn't do it. So, but I think it should be in the last recording. I talked about the dollar index coming into this imbalance, mitigation, sweep of liquidity, 50% of the mitigation, and then prices going up. Right. So there's a bit of a conflict now, disagreement between what the weekly structure is telling us and what the monthly is saying. So once again, if we go to the monthly, we have this. Okay, now this, we have a breaker structure to the downside, and really after price break structure, like in a bullish trend, then we have a breaker structure. What we should be expecting is a lower high, and then price should dump. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is after the breaker structure, really price in this area, it should give us some kind of buy. So that buy might not actually necessarily take out the high, but it should buy all the way up to a premium area for itself. So once price has broken structure, we should be on the lookout for buys. Okay, so now the monthly is bearish, but we can be anticipating some possible buy to the upside. Now the weekly is bullish, and then after this higher high, a higher low, we should also be looking for possible buy all the way to the upside. But now the difference between the weekly and the monthly is that the monthly, after giving us the breaker structure, it should buy but should not take out the high. The weekly, after giving us the breaker structure, it should come down and also buy, but should take out the high and create a new higher high. So one thing is common between the two is that they should give us some kind of buy to the upside. The only difference is that the monthly shouldn't take out the high. The weekly should take out the high. But one thing is common, it should buy all the way to the upside. So there's a bit of an agreement, even though they are disagreeing. Are you seeing it now? So, so yes, we can most likely see the dollar index buy based on this analysis. I haven't really gone into fundamentals of what is happening just based on technical analysis. That's why I'm doing this. All right, so from next week, there's going to be a little bit of fundamental to hit and see what is going on, but this is just pure technical analysis from what I'm saying on the chart. So the dollar index should most likely buy. I'm seeing some kind of, we had some lows and highs and lows and highs, and then this low, right? And then price came into this imbalance, and then price is rejected, and then it's going all the way to the upside again. So for the monthly, I'm going to wait if I can see price come to this area. Okay, then I'm going to be looking at what is going on in this, because this is also an area of supply in the market. And then if we go down to the daily time frame, what do we have on the daily time frame? So on the daily time frame, I can see we have this equal lows in this area, right? So this to me is what I always refer to as the daily lows, same thing as daily liquidity. And then structure is bearish, right? We have this lower low, and we have this lower high, and we have this low. And now price is coming all the way to the upside. Now I'm going to draw the fib and measure from the swing high down to the swing low. We already have gotten to 618, kind of lines up with this imbalance. Most likely might start to come down from there. Remember, the monthly is bearish. And if we're trying to catch the beginning of the retracement, sometimes we get burnt, right? Because maybe he still wants to drop the more, right? So if it's going to drop the more, we're still correct with the monthly analysis of DXY going to the downside. Maybe it's not ready to buy yet. But the weekly is saying it shouldn't go below this low because we are in a bullish weekly market, right? So, but now the daily is also bearish, and price is now inside this imbalance. So we have two imbalances to focus on now on the daily time frame. We have the first one in this area here. That is this imbalance in this area. I mean, price is already there. Price is already rejecting from there last week. So we have this one, and then we also have this bigger one that lines up with the monthly imbalance in this area. So if this area doesn't hold, then definitely this area. But what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to be patient. I'm going to be patient. If this area plays out and just drop, take out the liquidity, fine. But I think I'm going to be patient for this one up here. All right. I'm just going to wait to see how this area plays out. Okay. And then I'm going to be monitoring. If this area doesn't hold, then fine. Right. Then I'm going to be looking at this area up here for maybe possible sales, because this area is more kind of stronger than this one here. So, and this the imbalance has already been filled. We only have this little one left. Now, scaling down to a lower time frame, like the, let's say 4 hours. What do we have on the 4 hours? On the 4 hours, now, structure is, we have this high, this low, this high, and then it broke structure to the downside here. So we do have this breaker structure, and price gave us this low. And ever since then, it's been creating series of lower highs. We have a lower high here, a lower high here, a lower high. So you can see each of these three lower highs are this recent high, lower high is higher than this previous one, and it's also higher than this previous one. So this is kind of giving us candles that trying to tell me that dollar is still stronger at the moment, because the lower highs keeps increasing and price is not creating a new lower low yet. So I'm just going to wait to see what happens. All right. And then I can also see we have another equal lows in this area. So this is going to be lows here. So we have liquidity here, and we also have this daily liquidity in this area. So now how far up can price go to before the dump begins, right? So keep an eye in this area. All right. And then if this area doesn't hold, I'm going to be looking at this bigger area for possible sales to the downside. But then first this one, and then this one next. So that's it for dollar index. And everything I've said, just it's going to be the opposite for Euro USD. All right. I don't have to start the analysis over again for Euro USD. Just going to be the opposite. Right. Let's check the dollar index. And you know what? Let's do this to make it easy. I'm just going to do this, and I'm going to bring the let's just bring EU here and just do the same thing. So for EU on the daily time frame, let's start with dollar index on the daily time frame. So I can just, so dollar index, we're looking at price coming to this imbalance, or the bigger one from the monthly time frame. And I'm sure that is, we have the imbalance is going to be this one here. So this is going to be it, this one. Okay, this is going to be for a buy, because EU did not even get to the imbalance. Okay, see, it's for a buy, for a sell, and going down to the 4-hour time frame, dollar index. So we have equal lows and daily lows. Do we have equal highs on EU? I think so. Let me see. Yeah, we do have equal highs on EU. So this is liquidity. We have daily highs here. Makes sense, because EU daily highs, dollar index daily lows. I mean, it makes sense, right? Just like we had one in this area, and we were anticipating that the dollar index was going to take it out. I mean, if you've been following my market overview last year, it's been a game of liquidity, right? We identify the liquidity, we look for the potential area where price is going to get to, and that's our point of interest. We identify the liquidity, identify the point of interest, wait for price to get into the point of interest, look for the confirmations, the breaker structures, the price is actually going to go in that direction, and then we take the trade, anticipate that price is going to sweep the liquidity. That's it. That's how we've been doing it. And I also have something interesting is coming to the YouTube channel very soon. It's going to be really amazing for new traders. It's going to be amazing for even some old traders that you're finding it difficult to understand how to trade. Something really, really amazing is coming up. So just Stay tuned. All right. So now going to the 4 hours on EU. Okay. So just like DXY, we have equal lows. EU, I can also see equal highs in this area. Not really, yeah, equal highs. So I mean, it's just present everywhere, right? So we have this equal highs, and it broke structure, which I'm sure was the same thing here. And it gave us this break, so high, low, and it's been giving us some series of higher highs and higher lows, right? So there's two areas. So the first one, yeah. What's the second one? Oh, I'm coming. Let me go back to the daily. So the daily had this. Where's this one coming from? Just trying to. That's the monthly imbalance. All right, that's the monthly imbalance. So let's go back. Let's come to the monthly. Yeah. So for EU, really, there is no imbalance except just this very, very little one in this area. So very small, right? Very, very small. This candle did justice. Like it filled it up a lot. That was December candle before rejecting. But this, we have the bigger one here. Okay, so I see it now. So going to the weekly time frame and then this to the weekly time frame, we have that. This is from the daily. Okay, and then this from the daily. We have the imbalance there and the liquidity. So, and this is a bullish market, right? We have this high, this low rather, and then this high. So it would make sense if we can get EU to come down into the imbalance and then start to go up. The same thing we want for the dollar index, go up and then start to come down. So it could come into this area or this area. So let's just be on the lookout. But I'm sure it's going to get to one of them before the drop. All right, so EU also just be on the lookout, this imbalance. And then on the 4 hours, we do have this high. So, I mean, let us see what this candle and the next couple of candles are going to, information they're going to give us. If we start to see multiple candles go to the upside, then definitely they want to take out this high. But if it starts to just keep coming down, I mean, there's no trade idea yet for me. I'm just going to wait until price comes to my point of interest. Then I'm going to be looking for trading opportunities. And then I can also see this, all of this liquidity forming up. That's it. So just let's be patient. This is my point of interest for dollar index, just the opposite for EU. And whatever happens, keep an eye on it. All right, just keep an eye. Okay, so that is it for the dollar index and EU. So the next one is Euro NZD. So Euro NZD, while I was doing the analysis yesterday, I saw this equal lows in this area, right? I saw this equal lows, and actually I was using the fixed range volume profile to look for the areas that institutions are actually placing their trades. So I'm still learning it. So that's why I'm not going to introduce it yet to you guys. Still under training for me. I'm still uh, going through it, checking it, and seeing how effective it is before I can introduce it to you guys. So that's how I trade. Right? Learning never ends. So I learn something else. I want to add it to the things I know before. I'm not going to learn something else and throw what I know away already. So that's it. All right. So for Euro NZD, on the weekly time frame, on the weekly time frame, we are bullish. This higher high, this higher low, and the price gave us this higher high and higher low, but failed to give us a new high. So the structure within the bigger structure is bearish because now it has given us two lows. Give us this low, this, and then give us another low, right? So we can see Euro NZD on weekly time frame is actually trading lower, right? So now we have this equal lows. Structure is still bullish, as we can see. This is the higher high, higher low, and higher high. So the bigger structure is still bullish, right? But then we have this equal lows. So we have this liquidity in this area, which I'm going to refer to as the daily lows in this area. So we have this as the daily lows, this is liquidity. And then the daily structure is also bearish, right? We had this low, and then we had this lower high, and then this lower low. And today's candle has been really bullish, as you can see. I mean, just has been really bullish already. So what I want to talk about yesterday was I was seeing this high, this low, and this high, and then Friday was down here. So I wanted to say if price is going to sell down and give us a close below this, but already you can see this is a very strong bullish day. So, and if we go to the weekly time frame, there's an imbalance just above this liquidity here. So we do have this imbalance in this area. Okay, I do have this imbalance. Now, structure is bullish. This, in fact, I would refer to as external liquidity. Okay, so what most likely might happen based on structure, what to go with structure, is that since the major structure is bullish and we've captured the internal liquidity that was here at first, take out internal liquidity and then price should just buy up. So what I'm trying to say is we have a case where we have this higher high, or let me do this. We have a higher high, a higher low, a higher high, and then price does something like this, goes up, does something like this, goes up. And then this is already internal liquidity. So sweep the internal liquidity and then go all the way to the upside. That is what we have here, right? So we have this internal liquidity and price swept it. It should just go to the upside. That's what we should be anticipating based on structure. But now, if and only if the institutions are going to be aiming for this liquidity here, then this is going to be a very good area to take sell positions. All right, structure is bullish. So I'm just going to have this on the radar just in case institutions are going to be looking to take a sell from this area. All right. So just have it at the back of your mind that the structure is bullish. It could just go up. All right. So just play this safe. Okay. And then for CAD JPY on the daily time frame, we have, I say bullish and bearish. Okay, the very big structure has high, this low, and this high. That's the major like structure. And then everything that has happened is just within the range. And then we started to have some down days like this low, high, low, broke the structure, came down again. And if we have to look at this area now, we had this low, this high, and this low. Then it broke, and then we started to have what? High, higher low, higher high, and then it broke again, and then it broke again, and then it's just going back and forth, right? So we have this area, right? This is a very strong level of demand and supply. And like I was saying, I'm not going to introduce it yet. Like I'm not going to show you yet because I'm still learning. I'm still trying to understand it more. But if you're going to draw the range, just to, like I said, I'm still learning it. Okay. But from this area, this high to this low, I can see that this is where we had like most of the orders being placed and lines up perfectly with demand and supply area. I'm not surprised our price came all the way to this high and then started to reject from there, right? But I'm still learning this. I would introduce it much later when I am already, like I've understood it to an extent and I'm good with it, right? So for CAD JPY, I would only be interested in taking a sell if we can close below the present structure that is forming, right? We have this high, this higher low, this higher high, and it is most likely going to create a new higher high. But I'm only going to take the sell if we can close below. If it goes up again, then this is going to be a new higher low, and if it closes down, then I'm going to be looking to sell. So this is not even ready yet, but it's just going to be on my radar, right? So for CAD JPY, I'm actually high in this liquidity here. So it looks interesting, but still like it's very far. Okay, but then the year is just starting, so there's still going to be a lot of price movement. So it's okay to aim for this and look at how prices actually moving in this area. Okay, so for CAD JPY, this is my point of area I want price to get to. It's very far down. I'm not going to take a sell until I see the confirmation that yes, we're ready to go down from here. All right. So that's it for CAD JPY. And then GJ, same thing with CAD JPY, right? Same thing with CAD JPY. We have the liquidity to the downside, and GJ, after creating this higher high, gave us this low, gave us this higher high, and then came all the way down, broke the structure. So GJ actually broke structure, and GJ is kind of bearish. So even though the structure within the structure is bullish, and we can start to see some kind of rejection, but once again, it is still heavily bullish. There is no confirmation for a sell yet, aside from the structure or the liquidity. So I'm going to wait for more confirmations before I'm going to take a sell on this trade. Right, that's for GJ. And then NZD card. NZD card. So I saw the liquidity to the upside. Yeah, so we have daily highs in this area. And you can see there's been a lot of wicks to the upside and to the downside for NZD card, up and down. Let's check the weekly time frame. What do we have? Okay, monthly. Okay, so let's see what happens when price comes to this imbalance. Okay, so that's it. I'm not going to say anything on NZ card. Let's just wait until price gets to this imbalance. So this is the point of interest. Okay, let's wait and see what happens in that area for NZ card. And then lastly, Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, oh boy, Bitcoin. Let me see. That's already got into half of the entire swing. Like came all the way up to 69,000, and now price from 69K all the way down to 15,453. So Bitcoin has actually gotten to 50% of the entire move. So I think it has gotten my attention now. So although last year we've been calling possible price rejections for Bitcoin, right? And I can remember last year also we talked about price. Even last 2 years, price coming into this imbalance I marked on the monthly time frame lines up with demand and supply, and price just went all the way to the upside. Now going to the weekly time frame, we can also see that price was kind of bearish and then changed direction, and now it's bullish, right? We had this low, this high, and then this low, and then it broke. I remember calling out possible buy opportunity from here. Price came down, rejected. I wasn't in. I called another one from here. Price came down, rejected. I wasn't in. So now I think I'm going to focus. I'm going to look at Bitcoin and take a trade. I remember last 3 years, I bought Bitcoin around, I think I had my entry somewhere in this area, and I bought it all the way to 69K. So I'm a lover of Bitcoin. So I want to go back to it. So Bitcoin now is moving, and on a monthly time frame, we had a lot of big movement. So it should rebalance, right? We should get a little bit of rebalancing before the next possible swing up. So we can look for maybe sell opportunities, but kind of dangerous though. But then one thing I can see is that it came into this imbalance, and now is rejecting off the imbalance, right? It's rejecting off the imbalance already. We have a lot of imbalance to be filled here. This is the monthly time frame. If you move to like 3 months, you can see it's just one big candle to the upside, right? One big candle. So it should rebalance a little, fill up a little bit of this imbalance, and then maybe go all the way to the upside. Now, this area is a very strong area of demand and supply. You can see we had some demand in this area, we had some demand, we had some supply, and then demand again. So it could most likely come down to this area before it push up. All right, but then we have to monitor the candles really closely to see what is happening, right? So going to the daily time frame, what we have, you see, we had one high, low, high, low, high. Now the daily structure has broken to the downside. Okay, we have this breaker structure on the daily, and then we have some kind of liquidity in this area. All of this is liquidity. We have all of this. Oh, daily lows, that's the daily liquidity. So now Bitcoin has broken structure to the downside. We have this imbalance that could be a potential area of distribution, but then Bitcoin is heavily bullish at the moment. So trying to take a sell could really be dangerous, but who knows? So this area here, Bitcoin is heavily bullish. So let's see what's going to happen inside this area. Okay. I mean, on the weekly time frame, we're not just taking a sell blindly, right? We have confirmations, and it's okay if the confirmations actually lead to a losing trade. Not every confirmation we get and we react based on those confirmation actually result to us being profitable. I mean, if you've been trading for a number of years, you should know that already. You could see a perfect clean setup, still hit SL, right? So we have this many months of buys, and now price bought all the way to this imbalance. I mean, this is the only imbalance left on the monthly time frame in this whole entire range. So even if we're going to get some kind of sell, should be from this area, right? The only thing that could worry us a little is that it didn't fill it up well. It could want to go up and fill it a bit more. But now the weekly is looking good for some kind of sales, monthly rather. Weekly also, can you see? After this very long buy, I mean, many weeks of straight bullishness, we're starting to see some kind of weakness, right? Bullish, and we have bearish, then we have bullish, then we have bearish, then we have bullish, and then we had price bought all the way to the upside last week, and then sellers were able to really come into the market and then take price all the way to the downside. Let me see something. I just want to see if it's going to be applicable to. Okay, so it is in this area we had many orders coming to the market for a buy. So you can see I'm not really surprised how still in that same area we had this rejection and then prices flew all the way to the upside. So amazing. Okay, so for the weekly time frame, I can see we have a very big rejection. So this rejection, is it fake, or is actually going to usher in more sales? We're going to wait to see. And then on the daily time frame, we have broken structure, and now we have this imbalance to look out for possible sell. Based on structure, it should sell, right? I mean, we have liquidity that it might want to take out. So let's see what's going to happen. So I'm having this as a point of interest for Bitcoin. Okay, guys. So this is our first FX market overview for this year. There's going to be many more. So just stay tuned. And once again, something really amazing is coming to the YouTube channel. Stay tuned. That's going to be all from me for now. Do have an amazing trading week. Bye-bye. And it's almost 11:11. All right. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.